Fox News exists because Rupert Murdoch in the 1990s was like, by the way, that's the reason Rush Limbaugh existed too. They're like, seems like there's sure like a missing part in the market of media and news coverage where we could offer something that speaks to people who are not in the broadcast news mainstream media bubble, people who are not center left or liberal, people who like, oh, I don't know, a lot of this country are center right or conservative. And we could speak to some of their issues and we could cover news for them. That is successful because there was a gap in the market because everyone was left. And you watch these panels on cable news try to grapple, with few exceptions, try to grapple with what happened. And there's not one person on those panels, with the exception of CNN's Scott Jennings, who does a great job, usually not one person there who can explain why people voted for Trump, because none of them did and none of their friends did. Okay. So there's a gap in the market. There's also a gap in the market, I think, for curious thinkers. Joe Rogan is not a conservative. Joe Rogan was, in fact, a Bernie Sanders voter at one point and a Bernie Sanders supporter. But he is a person who wants to ask a bunch of questions that the people on those panels have said you're not allowed to ask. Joe Rogan filled a gap in the market for long form, interesting, winding interviews with people who say interesting things, and sometimes things that what's the commonality? The overarching Pod Save America broadcast network, cable network people don't want you doing. And it turns out that people want to tune in for those things that they tell us we shouldn't be doing. And if you bubble yourself with the people who are policing the rest of us, you don't see what people care about.
Yeah, so Amy on Instagram saying hearing candidates candidly talking through their views was so beneficial. Constantly seeing Harris avoid having conversations raise more questions and concerns. So that's one point of view. It's interesting here, though. I just want to mention this because it's really coming up on our live chat, and I think it's really important as well. Ashley says it's not just the politicians, but also the news in general. And Tracy says this: yes, it's news more than the politicians. The mainstream media thinks we are stupid, and Fox News wants us all to be angry. So there you see, it's across the board. It's not just like, oh, the liberal media. Peggy says the media and politicians talk to us like we are dumb. I mean, this is exactly why I left traditional news.
Right.
This is actually why I built Smarter News, because there was a clear move away from listening to the audience to just saying, we're going to give you whatever we think is good for you. And I could not get behind it. There would be these debates where we would have two people fighting live on television. And the term inside the newsroom is red meat. Give them red meat. Let's have them battle off about something and just get them yelling at each other. And that's going to make good TV. Pretty soon my producers stopped giving me these segments because I asked too many questions about them. Because I was like, what do we really want people to learn here? Is there anything that we're like, are we trying to like really look at both sides?
Yeah.
And it would drive me crazy because it's not actually news or reporting. It's something else.